Sawtooth Geometry Demystified, Part 2. Let's talk about the three primary filing profiles, those being rip, hybrid, and crosscut. We'll focus on just rip for now to keep it simple. Starting at the rip filing geometry, we have 5 degrees rake and 5 degrees bevel. Super simple. This is ideal geometry for working with North American hardwoods. You can lean towards 0 degree rake and 0 degree bevel when working with softwoods, but hardwood cuts require a more relaxed approach. Now check out the hybrid filing geometry, my personal favorite. I have sharpened many thousands of saws and I always come back to hybrid. Why? Because you get the best out of both worlds for backsaw work. And finally, we have dedicated crosscut with 15 degrees rake and 15 to 20 degrees bevel. This is your least important filing for backsaws because, again, it just doesn't take much for the thin plate of a backsaw to sever wood fiber. Now let's focus on a rip file tooth line at 5 degrees rake. Rake is your most important sharpening angle since it governs the symmetry of your tooth line and the speed of your cut. Remember, the steep side of the tooth for rake always follows the toe end of the plate. The heel end of the plate is located at the right. Note how the sloped side of a given tooth always follows the heel. There's one more aspect of geometry to address, that being the gullet, the low space in between each tooth. The radius of the gullet, like the sawtooth itself, is 60 degrees. Pop quiz. What is the radii of a saw file's cross-section? You guessed it, 60 degrees on all three corners, which makes the cross-section of your saw sharpening file an equilateral triangle. Now I'm going to float in the cross-section of a file. Note that the right edge of this file is rotated at 5 degrees toward the heel end of the tooth line. It lines up with the sloped side of the tooth on the left and the steep side of the tooth on the right. Let's reverse things now to simulate flipping the plate around in our vise. Note the geometry. Instead of 5 degrees, we now find that the rake angle is established at 355 degrees. The heel's on the left and the toe is on the right. Everything is simply reversed. And at this point, things are probably starting to get a little noisy in your brain. That said, let's simplify things with an immediately practical takeaway from today's lesson. Finding rake with your sharpening file is a rotational function, i.e., how the file handle slips or rotates in your hand to match the pre-existing geometry of this rip file tooth line is really what's important. Tomorrow we'll simplify things by going over the clock method. Thank you.